proposed budget. I guess if there's any questions, concerns, we're open for it. Yes.
I just wanted to say that I thank you on behalf of the Franklin Free Library for restoring the funds that we normally receive. We run on a very tight budget and we appreciate every dollar that we get. We stretch it to the purpose.
So we thank you for your response, and they gave us a budget also, their proposed budget for 19. And I did stop in on a Saturday and told Mrs. Collier that, you know, we would be restoring the $500, but we gotta get communication a little sooner in the year if we can. So that is one change that we've gotta, I believe we've gotta do to the budget, is restore that and then get funding moved around for that. Okay, is that, okay, that's, I believe that, is there any questions on that? From the board?
I have a number for the Franklin Treadwell Fire District.
Oh, okay,
now.
yep, okay.
It's $217,543.13.
And that's down from last year a little bit, right, Paul?
Yes.
I think it was, that's what they told me. The budget was,
Well, their budget is down, yes.
I believe that.
Ours, just a second here. Last year it was $215,000. So Franklin's paying $2,000 more than we did last year. We have to remember, just because their budget goes
Right.
down doesn't mean it all
Right,
depends
right.
on what happens in Meredith too,
Right, okay.
because it's a shared district.
Shared
so-
district, and then they get
Yeah.
to,
So theirs definitely went down.
okay, good. That's what they were saying, yeah. Okay. Any other concerns, questions? Yes.
So the only other cut in the budget is for the attorney's fees.
Reduction to the attorney.
I understand the town's getting sued. Is this a good time to cut the amount for?
It's proposed action. I'm not sure if it's, you know, I'm sure there's litigation going on, but I'm not sure if it's gonna go to where they'll settle out. I'm hoping they'll settle out on that, you know, so it doesn't go on, but, we've got funds from the, for legal fees and stuff in the road, when we got the road use agreement with, Constitution. That money that we put into that's for legal actions and stuff too, right, Paul? But that's what we've used it for, I believe.
We can, yes.
We can. You know,
It's our money to do with.
Right, it's ours to do what we want. At this time, you know, that's what we're, you know, thinking, if it does go to litigation, you know, I'm hoping, you know, whatever, I'm not sure what it entails, you know, but, hopefully it won't entail too much.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anything else? Okay. There was, if nobody else has got anything, we'll close the public hearing, and we'll go into the regular meeting at this time, and I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we'll have the minutes read from the two previous meetings. Oh, I'm sorry. Could we have a motion to go out of executive session? Or out of public hearing? To close the public hearing.
Second.
Public hearing? So, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay.
Okay,
October 2nd, the regular meeting of the Franklin Town Board was called to order by Supervisor Jeff Taggart at 7:31 p.m. Present were Jeff Taggart, Garrett Sitz, David Grant, Donnie Smith, Dwight Bruno, Mark Lang, and Paul Warner. The minutes were read from the September 4th, 2018 meeting. Dave Grant made the motion to accept the minutes as read with the correction that the news service is not on the cell tower yet. Dwight Bruno seconded the motion and all present agreed. It was questioned whether the board had to tell the reason that they go into executive session. Jeff will speak to an attorney and get back to them. Dave Hill gave the report for the Kellogg Franklin Trust. Jim Basil gave a presentation on the need for reappraisal in Franklin. Mark Lane reported that Asplund is coming to look at taking down some trees. Mark and Jamie went to look at a four-wheel drive brush tractor. It's in very good condition. It's on the internet auction October 4th, 2018. Garrett made the motion to bid on it, but to spend no more than 75% of the equipment savings account. Dave seconded the motion. All present agreed. Jeff reported for the planning board. There is a public hearing Thursday on the dog food processor. Paul went over the preliminary budget. Garrett made the motion to accept preliminary budget, and Dwight seconded the motion. All present agreed. Amanda Groff gave a report for the Recreation Committee. Jeff will show Delhi Telephone the Frontier bills because they think they are able to do better. With nothing further to come before the board, Garrett made the motion to adjourn at 9:04 and Dave seconded the motion. All present agreed.
Do you want to do them separately, or do you want to approve them together?
Got it.
The minutes.
It's 57.
Okay, go ahead.
October 16th, a special meeting of the Franklin Town Board was called to order by Supervisor Jeff Taggart at 7:30 p.m. Present were Jeff Taggart, Garrett Sitz, David Grant, Donnie Smith, and Dwight Bruno. Jeff reported that more information does need to be given as to why the board has to go into executive session. The reason on October 2nd, 2018 was litigation on assessment. Dave Ullman gave information on the addition to the town building. Gary gave some suggestions for a few changes. Dave and John Peterson answered questions. They will bring revised plans to the November 7th, 2018 meeting. Juliana Longo asked the board for suggestions and help for her road, Thoroughbred Road, which is a homeowners association. They will check into a few things and get back to her. There will be a public hearing of the preliminary budget November 7th, 2018 at 7:30 with regular meeting to immediately follow. Garrett made the motion to go into executive session at 8:57 to discuss more on the litigation on assessment. Dave seconded the motion and all present agreed. The board returned from executive session at 9:50 p.m. With nothing more to come before the board, Donnie made the motion to adjourn and Garrett seconded the motion. All present agreed.
Any additions or corrections to both meetings minutes? Got a motion?
Any motion?
Second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay. Well, I guess John and Dave, we'll let you come up and give us some more ideas on the building, or?
Good evening, everyone. Basically, what we did after the last meeting is we went back and made some modifications to the building, as were discussed at the last meeting. And then added one further thing. There was some reorientation here based on what Judge Art had desired in the clerk to basically provide a revision into the court area from the clerk's office, and reordered some of the items in here, and basically generated a handicap accessible bathroom in this corner here. Following that original breakdown, I had a discussion with Supervisor Taggart, and there was some input from other members that thought about, well, maybe we could extend the building a little bit back here, basically to square it off with the existing building, and create a space that would continue to allow access to the parts room and the break room, and also provide some storage going forward. So that was added. That was added because originally we were in here like this, and then we just pushed it out. So really, so everything is just squared away. But other than that, basically, it's real similar to what we had talked about before. And in your hand is the revised layout, and we just highlighted in here what the new building was versus the old building, and then the overall site plan was included in the back as well. We just put it on a different aerial so that we would actually have a visual of where all that would land on the job, on the project site. John's been in touch with Morton Buildings, but we haven't got any estimates out of them yet.
Right. Well, if we're going with the footer. And
that was one of the changes. Thanks for bringing that up, Jeff.
Right.
And that we reviewed the discussion at the last meeting was that we were going to put in like a normal household foundation with footings and a concrete frost wall here. But when we spoke after the meeting with our structural person, he said, well, what you're going to do then is marry two dissimilar structures. You're going to have a pole barn that wants to move in the wind versus a structure that doesn't want to move in the wind. So you're creating you're creating a dissimilar structure.
Okay.
So what he said is basically to stick with the pole barn type construction.
Oh, really? Okay.
And do that. And talking with John on that, basically what we're proposing is you dig a trench here, and you probably put in like a 2-foot square footing where each of the posts are. You've got like a 5-foot space on the post, and then in between there we could just put the foam insulation so you'd have your thermal break. Right, so you're still going to dig a trench where you're going to put things in. It's still going to be 4 feet deep, but instead of concrete,
Right.
we're going to have concrete footings, and then you would just have dowel board in there for the foam
okay.
break.
Okay.
So it's actually cheaper in the end, and it actually allows our building to do what it wants to do. So that was a good
Flow
reason.
with this building.
Exactly, to flow with this building. We didn't think long. And that's why we had a structural guy that says, no, you don't want to do that. You want to do this.
Well, that's good.
I think everything else is pretty much the same. The drainage swale, we're proposing again to fill in so we can provide some new space. The electrical service we talked about last time, making that single phase 240, we have to make some changes to the panel in the back. The oil burner, we haven't exactly looked at it, but if you've got 2 extra zones, and we're talking about what we talked about before with providing supplemental heat with PTAC units, we think that's adequate. So there's really nothing, and basically the other thing was the existing septic system. We think we'll just stay with it right now because our load's not that much different than what it is.
Right.
So if we have to do something in the future, we can always do something different.
Right.
But the one thing we would like to do would be to just get that pumped out because it's been a number of years since
Yeah.
that's happened. Just to make sure, if we pump it out and we see that there's an issue, right?
Right.
Then we could deal with it at this time. Otherwise, we just continue to do how we've always.
There was one concern, I can't remember who brought it up, saying that the handicap accessible bathroom and stuff is a great idea, but if somebody comes to the town clerk's office, sometimes they'd like the availability of the
Of the bathroom.
restrooms,
Yeah.
restroom availability.
Yeah.
And without going outside and coming back in, which that room may not be opened up at the time,
Right.
how, I guess I'm looking at the plans, I'm not sure how we could, right now there's a doorway in the backside of the clerk's office to come around and use.
Right, we
That
may be able
bathroom.
to, and we'll have to look at this, but we may be able to reorient things.
Yeah, we could shift the bathroom down and put a hallway that goes between the 2 areas across the front where the living area is. The clerk would, somebody's gonna lose some space.
Right,
That's-
right.
That's the downside of that, but
Yeah.
it would give you.
But that was a concern that somebody brought up, that, you know, if they're,
And that's it, and that's a good
That's a
point.
valid point.
right, okay, that was just one concern. Okay, now, I talked to Brian, and he was saying, I know we mulled over this at the last meeting, you know, about putting the court system all in the addition, and putting the clerk and everything in here, and you would said at that time, it's a cost factor thing, where, you know, if you're gonna revamp this whole area too, it's cheaper just to keep all your construction in one.
Right, we were
One
talking
side.
about shifting it where we would do, you know, a
Right.
piece of it this way and that way.
Right.
And we actually looked at some of those layouts, and this is
Right.
probably the third or fourth rendition on this, so we feel like
Right.
this is probably your most space, it's probably your best utilization of space with minimizing the changes that we have to do in this building.
Right, yep.
And that's what it boils down to, is utilization of space.
Well, I
Once you
was,
start putting a hallway in, you're losing
You're- right.
working space for your staff, and you're losing office
Yep.
space, and you're already tight on your office space as it is.
right. No, but that was a concern that was brought up, that's why. Is there any other questions from anybody?
I guess one thing, Jeff.
Yes.
So the courtroom's gonna be here, really?
Well, this will be your, when you're having court, this is where you'll be, yes.
Okay. So,
Yes.
I mean, I guess my only concern is like security of the computers and stuff when, you know, it's not in use.
Well, they'll all be in your office and locked up, I believe, Gary,
I keep one on the desk, on the bench when I'm there.
when you're there.
Yeah.
But when you leave,
You have to-
you'll have to take it to your, it's a laptop, right? Is that-
No, I have a
I thought there was a laptop you brought in.
desktop. I got a desktop, and the laptop's the recorder. Desktop is the actual computer,
Okay.
and so is Jan's.
Well, I think in that case, what you might have to have, and this is talking Babylon like you normally do, is have it on a desk on wheels so you can take it back to your office, to your office, so it's not in here, because
Yeah.
because this room will be utilized for town board meetings.
Public access.
Yeah, look, right, well, you got the 3 offices in here, so the public will be accessed. And that's what, I thought you just brought your computer out to do the work, then you took it back in your room.
No. Both
And that might be, what it'll have to be is have them on a rolling desk of some sort to push it back in the office.
Gary, is it a case, does it have to be a desktop unit? Is there some reason why it either couldn't be picked up by your existing laptop or by another unit that you could transport?
I believe it,
Yeah, I mean, you could just have a laptop, it would do more than your desktop, and you have the
Yeah.
advantage of taking it wherever you need to for security reasons. You don't have to leave it.
Well, the laptop I have now is just for recording anything that goes on in
Sure,
Right.
case.
Right.
sure.
And then the other thing is I look up, driver's licenses, stuff like that, and I have to go into DMV or
You
download.
could still do that with a laptop.
So they have to have 2 laptops.
No, you could.
Or you could
just have
consolidate it into one, right? I mean, if you,
Or even if you had to,
even if you have 2, at
You
least
got
you'd
2
be able to
computers
move one
now.
from here to there, right?
if you got rid of your desktop or whatever it is, and
Well,
have
keep
2
that in his
laptops.
office,
Pardon?
keep that in his office, and,
Right, just
you
have
know,
one
and have the
laptop.
2 laptops that you could take back with you.
All right, well, all right, we'll let it slide.
Well, we'll see.
Well, think about it, at the end of the day, laptops now, they're so much more powerful than they used to be, and they're not that expensive.
Yeah.
If you've got a desktop that's more than 5 years old, it's probably antiquated anyway, to the point if it's 10 years old, then it's, right, so at the end of the day, to throw something in there that's actually new
Well, I just gave
technology.
me a new one.
Right,
So I just
okay.
replaced it with Windows
Okay.
10, but,
Well, it's a concern that we can work with.
Yeah,
I think it's something that can be.
I just,
Those are 2 options. I mean, we move it in and out, or we come up with a laptop situation.
Right, laptop
Stuff that-
situation.
that does
Which if
that.
you get,
maybe a rolling desk or something.
well, that's why I said, have a desk that you can roll in and out. And that way you can put it back in your off, I mean, I don't know what you gotta unhook and hook up wiring wise, I don't know. That's where a
Just
laptop
depend-
may be easier.
Depending on where the Wi-Fi is, really.
Right,
So,
right, okay.
All right,
Okay,
It's just a thought. Oh, and I was mentioning to John here, where the attorney conference room is
Yep.
and the clerk's office room, and it'd be good to have like a sliding window that they could have privacy.
well, it's got a wall.
Hmm?
There's a wall there already, right? That's It's a separate
A
room.
sliding window in that wall, so that the clerk could look into the conference room and the attorneys could really, get information if they needed to, just
Oh,
handing it in and out of the window.
okay, looks
It's
like a
a-
blank
it's a
wall, so
symbol.
that'd be a window.
Yeah, but the sliding.
One of these windows just slides side to side.
Just
Yeah.
a small slide.
Okay. Okay, that doesn't sound like a,
I didn't think it was a big deal.
no, that doesn't show it,
No,
you're right,
that's
there's
easy.
no windows showed, so
That's easy.
that should be simple. Yep, okay.
That's all I got.
Anything else from anybody?
What about getting the septic from the bathroom over here? How are you gonna route that to the septic tank? Are you going around? Are you gonna have to pump it? Is there gonna be enough fall?
We'll bury a pipe underneath this slab, and put a small pump station out back to handle that, just to pump it over to that one.
This one's up pretty high right now, so you're not gonna get there by gravity.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that
They
was
use
brought
it there,
up,
it's a small, it's a small, like
Discussed
almost like a household grinder station unit, it's not a big deal, there's,
Yeah.
it would be easy to do.
Okay, anything else? No, we thank you very much, Dave and John.
We'll work on some new layouts and get those back to you, and hopefully we'll have some costs.
Yeah, I did talk to Crown today, Tammy from Crown, and I think we've got the NICEAG going forward
Great.
on it now. She said that the town is gonna have to pay for having the lines taken down when the services and stuff are changed. I said, okay, I'd like to have an estimate on it, see what it took. They can cut the wires over there, we can take poles down, that won't take long. But, yeah, that was,
Done that before.
but suppose, and Paul sent the electric bill, copy electric bill to Tammy, and she was gonna put the total control, the whole 6-meter bank and all that together, and give it to NICEAG, so NICEAG can get going on the plans. There won't be any charge, what I understand, any charge for the transformer change.
Probably not, I would guess not.
No, that's, Tammy said there wasn't gonna be any, but she's gonna get it figured out what come down the pole, and so I told her that the town could bury, dig the ditch and stuff for burying the lines and stuff.
So Crown's gonna pay for the meter,
The meter bank, I believe, yes. I believe so. So there's gonna be an improvement. I said, I'd like the town meter would be out there too,
Yes.
on that same bank. And then we come underground to our service here, so that'd be all gone.
Yeah, one other question was, do we wanna try to integrate the the generator at this time, put in a transfer switch? Anything to do that now, or you wanna leave that in wind and do that in the future?
I think some of the discussion has been is where do you put the generator? Because right now out there, that's gonna be really blocked, so service and getting to it and stuff is gonna be very tough.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
we
should
will be
go up.
filling that ditch in, so you will be able to still access that area, so.
If you put a tube in, we would, that's right.
It'd be better to move that generator out near that tower though.
And on the other side, on the back side of the tower.
Bank.
Right.
And I believe it already has a transfer switch with it.
Yeah,
Oh, it's not
I
in
don't know what the quality of it is or
Right,
anything. but-
right, right. Okay, yeah, I think we'll probably keep that out of it, John. And, but thank you for thinking of it. It's something that has been talked about, but where we can put it, and gotta
Yeah.
talk to the tower people too, to see what we can do in that area. I guess it's ours, but we gotta work with the companies that working with us. But that was a concern, where that building is, may not be the best spot to have a generator. And if you come off a meter, then actually right out there after the meter would be a almost ideal spot to have
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
So
generator.
you can get an LP truck up there too.
Right, for, yeah.
Now it's time to move it if we're gonna
Yeah, it'd be the
Right.
time to do it.
We gotta do it, right, right,
be done with it.
yep, okay. So is there any more questions, John, Dave? If not, we'll move on, and we thank you very much.
Thank you.